Okay, welcome back, and welcome to the K-Files. Let's put it that way. We're going to transition a little bit into the K-Files, but we're going to talk a little bit. JP's with me this morning, as usual. JP, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
So, you were going to go to the inauguration, but things changed. The weather got cold, talking about snow, all of that. There's no way y'all could have withstood those temperatures. Anybody could have withstood those. So, anyway, they moved it inside, so you watched it like I did from your TV at home. And I was just talking to you about the minister at the church. Good grief. And we hadn't talked about that. We've talked about a lot of the aspects. We hadn't talked about that because that's really come out now as of the last day or two.
And
Trump was really mad at her.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. This pastor, this preacher, she missed an opportunity to speak about unity, to speak about a new day. She missed an opportunity to bring people together.
Yes.
And instead, she interjected divisive politics. And she claims that she is nonpartisan, that she's non-political, but she's already been on CNN. She's already been on The View. She's been on liberal nighttime talk shows. So you tell me, the image that she is portraying is that she is a partisan, regardless of what she said. That's right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is. There's no doubt about it. Well, you know, that's a shame that had to happen. I know Trump doesn't like it, and he is calling for an apology.
He should. I would.
Well,
he is a better man than I am, because I'm going to tell you, I would have got up and walked out.
Absolutely. They should take her out of the pulpit, but they're not going to because everybody there is just like her.
Yeah. I would encourage everybody, go on your phone, go on your computer, pull this church up.
What's the name of it?
And it's the Washington, D.C. Episcopal Diocese.
Okay.
But just look at the staff. Just click on staff and scroll through the pictures of the staff, and it'll tell you everything you want to know.
What a shame. Well, some good things happened. We do have a new president. We're happy about that. And, you know, I want to show some footage. People were having parties, watch parties like crazy. Just the bars in Nashville, I understand, Tennessee, were just running over. We're going to show you the Redneck Riviera because we have footage of that. They were lined up outside trying to get in, and they were fortunate because John Rich he owns the bar, the Redneck Riviera bar, but he's not always there. He's an entertainer. I mean, he's on Fox News.
On the road.
He's performing. He's everywhere. But he does come into the Redneck Riviera. So for that event, and I'm not surprised that he was there, for that event, he was there. John Rich is the most patriotic, just a true patriot. We showed you not long ago how the veteran was only going to have a couple of people at his funeral, because everybody had predeceased him when you get as old as he was. And John Rich said, we're not having this. So he got together a whole bunch of veterans to come to his funeral. He just gathered up just tons of them.
I saw that.
And come to it. So anyway, we appreciate him being such a patriot. So I'm not surprised that he was at the bar that day for the inauguration watch party. So let's take a look at some of the footage that we have.
Y'all sound good. Come on now.
And not only did he come to the party, he performed there. So, golly, we should have been at the Redneck Riviera
It
instead
looked
of
like a good
in
time.
Washington.
I would
Yeah.
have been right in the middle of that.
So, anyway, yes, it was a good time, and such a patriotic bar downtown. It is, I think, the most popular bar in downtown Nashville, apparently. I hear stuff all the time that they're doing. People can't wait to get there. So, when they go to Nashville, everybody wants to visit. So, because of John Rich and all of that. So we do appreciate the Redneck Riviera and their watch party and all the other folks that had watch parties. I know you enjoyed it. So, you know.
What about the pardons? I've had a lot of people message me on Facebook, and they're like, JP, let me get your take on being a retired law enforcement officer, let me get your take on Trump pardoning these people who attack law enforcement.
Right.
And I said, look, I'm a realist. This is the way I look at it. Number one, Donald Trump ran on pardoning these people. It's not a surprise. He
No.
said, I'm
He said he was
going
going
to do it.
Yes, he did.
He didn't lie about it. He was forward about it. He was upfront. Now, from a law enforcement perspective, let me just go ahead and tell you, I've been assaulted as a law enforcement officer.
I'm sure you have.
The people that assaulted me over my career, do you know how many of them went to jail?
None.
None.
None. Exactly.
No big deal. I mean, it is what it is, okay?
Right.
We all watch WREL. We see these organizations go up there to the legislature and disrupt government proceedings. Are they in federal prison?
No.
No,
No.
they're not.
They're
not. Okay, damage to government property. Do you see people day in and day out going to federal prison for damaging property during a riot or things? No. The only thing these people were guilty of, other than that, is being Donald Trump supporters. And I was shocked to learn that they had sentences from 3 to 20 years in federal prison for January 6 violations. And it just blows my mind. Never mind the fact that these people that sat on the January 6th Congressional Committee, when they lost their seat, they destroyed evidence. Liz Cheney basically bleach bitted her computer. She locked it. There's evidence that's missing. Now it comes out that people like Liz Cheney and others tampered with people who tampered with witnesses. Their test basically coached them in their testimony. That'll send you to prison. Okay, now you're going to understand why Schiff got a preemptive pardon, why Liz Cheney got a preemptive pardon. If it were to come out that they prepped witnesses as to what to say or not, Liz Cheney would go to federal prison for doing that. Schiff would go to federal prison if it's true.
Yes.
That's why they need a preemptive pardon.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying now it puts credit behind these whispers that that's what these congressional members did.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, you've got Joe Biden saying for 2 years, I'm not going to pardon my son. He's on record being against preemptive pardons. Not my words, his words.
Exactly.
Adam Schiff's against preemptive pardons when they thought Trump was going to do it.
Right.
So the way I see it is you've got a man here that told you for 2 years, I'm going to pardon these people.
Yeah, he did.
And you've got a man over here that was president that said, I'm not going
and
to do
lied
this.
about it.
And lied about it.
He lied about everything. Golly.
So yeah, as a
So-
law enforcement officer, I'm completely cool with, I hate Trump had to do it. I hate it happened.
Right.
But yeah, I'm totally cool that he pardoned these people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it also. But, so what did Biden do? They announced at the inauguration, well, Fox News said it while they were doing the coverage, that Biden had pardoned his family. Did he decide to pardon them that morning?
My personal opinion,
I mean, we know it was before then, but why did it just come out then?
it was so that Trump wouldn't know about it until after the inauguration itself. It would be one less talking point that Trump would have to say during his inauguration speech, what have you. So when Trump was up there giving that inauguration speech, he didn't know. He didn't know that his family had, that Biden had pardoned his entire family.
Unbelievable.
But now let me tell you something. The public does not know about a pardon. You lose your Fifth Amendment if you accept a pardon, okay?
Right.
So if they have congressional hearings and they subpoena Liz Cheney or Adam Schiff to testify,
Right.
they have no Fifth Amendment to say, I don't want to answer this question. Not only do they have to answer it, they have to
Wow.
answer it truthfully.
I did not know that.
Yes, yes. Their Fifth Amendment is gone if you accept a presidential pardon. So it's going to be interesting to see what these people have, because now they're not going to leave this alone.
Whatever Liz Cheney gets, she deserves. Oh gosh, she just.
So they have got to, because they're protected and they can't be charged,
Yes.
they have got to tell everything. They've got to answer every question.
You can believe Trump's going to be on that,
Yes, he
because
is.
Liz Cheney really went after him.
And see, if they
She
catch you in a
really-
lie, that is post-pardon.
Yes.
Which means now you're in a situation where you can be charged with obstruction of justice. So if Biden thought he was helping them by giving them preemptive pardons, he has just opened Pandora's box.
Right. Wow. Well, I thought it was so funny. I said this the other day. It was just so funny that he was sitting there with them. You know, I mean, look what they've done to him. He almost went to prison. He spent millions of dollars. Look at all the things they've done. And I think he's still convinced they had something to do, Biden had something to do with the shooting. I don't know. But all of these things happened.
Did you see Barron, after Trump was sworn in,
Yes.
and everyone's about to leave, Barron Trump stands up. He walks over to Joe Biden.
Biden,
He does. And whatever he told, Biden has this kind of a grin on his face. Barron leans in and says something.
Something to him.
And whatever he said, it took the smile
It did.
off his face.
He just kind of,
Barron takes about 3 or 4 steps, turns around and winks at Biden, and Biden clenches his fist.
really, I didn't see that part.
Yes, he clenches his fist. I would love to know what that young man whispered to Joe Biden.
I would too. What about all these lip readers? Where are they?
Well,
at?
you can't really,
because
he's leaning. That's right.
Well, I would love to know too what he said. Oh, I really would. And I would love to know what Melania and Donald were talking about when they were dancing too, because they had conversation going on. But anyway, I thought it was funny that President Trump, in his inauguration speech, talked about them. He talked to the American people, to the people, not caring that they were sitting there at all, which is not normally what has been done in the past. But he really told them how bad they had been.
Yes, he roasted
really
them
told
to their
them.
face.
Yes, he did, to their face. And, because he's thinking, you know what? I got you in captivity and you can't do anything about it. For everything you've done to me, you're going to sit here and listen to me. And he knew he had them in captivity, nothing they could do, and they were going to listen, and he was going to do it right in front of their face. And I thought that was so funny. I really did think that was funny. But now Bill Clinton, he had the time of his life.
He did.
He didn't, he don't care about nothing. He was just having fun. Hillary, she was just, really just, I don't believe this kind of look on her face. Michelle Obama, shame on her. I felt kind of sorry for President Obama having to walk in by himself
And sit it on the end.
on the end. I mean, so she didn't go. She can't bring herself to do it. And I'll tell you who else can't bring themselves to do it either. And I don't even know why he was there. Get lost. Vice President Mike Pence. Get out. Get out. What are you doing in there? But his wife, she did not like Trump.
Did you hear the boos
Yes. When
for Pence?
I couldn't believe the boos for Pence. Ooh. I don't think he expected that.
I don't think he did either. I don't think he did.
And they booed the other presidents too. And my biggest, and I say this all the time, my biggest disappointment, my very biggest, because I loved him. I went to see him 2 times. I just loved the way he handled everything, was George Bush. I just thought President Bush was great. Not anymore.
Yep.
He has given me nothing but disappointment. And even up to the end here, I'm surprised he was even there, if you want to know
I was
the truth.
surprised.
Because he has really, and did you know that he didn't even would not even shake hands at
Jimmy
the
Carter's-
funeral, Jimmy
yeah.
Carter's funeral?
I saw
Wouldn't even, that was my final straw
Yeah.
with him. That was the final straw with George Bush for me. I'm done. So anyway, onward. I think if I had to criticize anything about the inauguration, it was too much talking, too many speeches.
Yeah.
It was so many speeches.
But he had a good time. Everywhere he
did.
went, that he had a good time.
He loves the people. Now, I guess I never realized it that much, but they said Obama did not like people, did not want to talk to the people. He did, and he's very charismatic when he speaks,
He is.
but he didn't like doing it, they said. I didn't know that. They said he didn't like to talk to the people. But I'll tell you what, President Trump even talked in the Oval Office when he was signing those things. He kept talking to the reporters and talking. He'll answer anything they want to know. And he had another one, yesterday, day before something?
They said he's already answered more questions his first day or two in office
Yeah,
than Biden did the last 2 years.
right,
Okay, in a public setting.
right.
That is, Trump looks like he is in his element. He
Yes,
loves it.
yes.
When he was up there at the Resolute desk just signing those executive orders, and they were throwing questions out at him left and right, he was in his element. He loved
was.
it. He was eating it up.
He really does like talking to the media. He don't mind. And he'll, if you get testy with him, CNN, and I'm hearing that CNN and MSNBC and there's no takers yet, but they're going to have to be sold. They are down, CNN is down 45% in viewership. Do you know that?
And they did it to themselves.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So now they are just grasping and grasping. They don't even have half the staff they used to have, host, whatever. It's just really bad. They're going to have to be sold. But Fox has plunged on and just really, really, yeah.
The only thing that's going to save these news outlets is, regardless if you're far left or far right, you've got to portray to the public that you are neutral in your opinions.
Yes.
And Jeff Bezos recognizes this with the Washington Post, and that is, he's got rid of some far left liberal columnists. That's the only thing that's going to save these newspapers and these news outlets, and that is you're going to have to pull back to the center and not really be partisan one way or the other. I despise watching, even if it's Fox News, I despise watching anything that I have a takeaway that it is so partisan.
Yes. And that's what happens with talk shows. The FCC will tell you talk shows are treated differently. News shows are supposed to be partisan. The news programming, such as Brett Baer, trying to think of all the other news programs that they have, the talk shows, the Five, and things like that. The talk shows don't have to be nonpartisan. That's kind of the way the FCC looks at this show. We sent a tape to them because somebody had said something years ago, and they said we didn't invite so and so to be on here, and it wasn't fair at a political time. I said, I don't have to invite you. I don't have to. Yes, you do. You got to give equal time. No, sir. I said, this is a talk show. So I sent. I wanted a letter from the FCC so I could have it, and so I sent a tape of our morning show to the FCC. They reviewed it, sent us back a letter. No, you do not have to give equal time on that show.
I had
It
always
is a
wondered how that
talk
worked.
show. It is deemed a talk show.
But you know, like news coverage, like if you watch the CBS Evening News, and I don't keep up with it minute for minute, but it would appear as though, just like all
Oh,
over
yeah.
again, 85% of Trump coverage, 90 is negative.
Yes,
And
yes,
in the same breath,
that's right.
the other side is just the opposite.
Yeah,
And night after night, I refuse to watch it. And that's what's wrong with the public. They're going to flip it to Fox News. I
Mm-hmm.
get tired of hearing things that I know is not true being shoved
Right.
down my
they're
throat.
not right. What they're saying is just not right. But, you know, I'll never forget David Crabtree on Channel 5. Lost his objectivity really bad. And he's supposed to be objective when he does his newscast at 6 o'clock. But when Renee Elmers was running against Bob Etheridge,
Photo op Bob.
I'm telling you, and he lost. David Crabtree lost it on the 6 o'clock news broadcast. I will
I
never
remember that.
forget it. He was totally not objective. I mean, his face turned red. Not that it's not already red, but he went and chased her down, Renee Elmers. He went to Washington, D.C. It showed the interview on TV where he chased her and was going to do an interview with her as the new congresswoman, and he gave her the hardest time. He asked her, he was still in his mode to just, because I found out he was really, really good friends with Bob Etheridge. They were good friends, and he just lost everything. But so that's a prime example of how it can happen on these news broadcasts that are supposed to be totally objective. So, and this morning, Joel Brown, I was watching Channel 11, and there was he said something about something that was going to be done with this administration, Trump's administration. And, you know, he was telling the facts about what it was. When he got finished, he said, there was a smirk. That's all. And I said, I know you didn't just do that. But anyway, he did. So
You do know that Trump hadn't been in office 24 hours, and North Carolina was one of the first states to file suit against Donald Trump. Our
Yes.
governor and our attorney general,
yes, I hated
they're
that.
already taking the Trump administration
Yep.
to court over immigration.
Yeah, absolutely. As good as he has talked about North Carolina, he talks all the time about he won North Carolina twice. I'm going to help the mountains. I'm coming.
His
and
first
then they
trip
go
is going to
do
be
that.
to Western North Carolina.
Yes,
His
that's
first trip outside of D.C. is going to be Western North Carolina.
Yes. So, you know, I really felt bad that these liberal whatevers are doing this. But anyway, I guess liberals have to do what liberals have to do. So,
They're starting this resistance junk all over again.
they are. They really
All
are.
over again.
But, you know, I said all these people were speaking out on all of these, you know, the View and all these things were going on, and protesters, they said, oh, do you know there's 200 protesters so-and-so in Raleigh going on now during the inauguration? I said, all these things were coming out, and I said, but guess what? Donald Trump is still president. Doesn't matter. Go right on. So anyway, all right, we're going to take our late break, and we'll be right back with some of the K-Files. We're going to talk about some cases.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And welcome back to the K-Files. We do talk about law enforcement, and, you know, we talk about news things that are relative to the K-Files. I mean, what we do on this show encompasses a lot. It's not just cases. I mean, it encompasses a lot. I mean, I want to talk about the law enforcement officer that was shot in Raleigh. It's very relative to what we do here. So how is he doing?
He was still in.
He's very critical.
Very critical.
Wow. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that happened. You know, these people that, and now, how is the police chief in Raleigh? She seems to be, I don't know, have you heard anything about her? How does she do? Is she good? Is she?
Of the officers that I know that I talk to, they like her.
They do. Well, I seem to like her when she comes on TV and I watch her. I seem to like her.
So, I don't know that much about her personally, just, like I say, the officers that I know, that they think the world of her. They think she's doing a good job.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, and I hope she can get this situation taken care of. This guy needs to be put somewhere.
You know, when you're out here in law enforcement or any job, and you're serving the public especially, you want to know that the leadership supports you.
Yes.
And I'm not saying lie for you or cover for you or allow you to go rogue. I'm not saying that at all. Just like the people that I know, the good friends of mine that work at the sheriff, they absolutely love the sheriff. And it's because they know if they get out here and they get in a situation and you've got to make a decision, you know, in 3/4 of a second, the sheriff's going to have your back. The sheriff has a reputation. Now, don't get me wrong. He's going to hold you accountable for your actions.
He is. Absolutely.
And if you don't do your job, I'm telling you, you're not going to work at the Nash County Sheriff's Office. You're just not. But the sheriff is going to support his people.
That's right.
And
that's
you
good.
don't have that a lot of times now in law enforcement.
Exactly. All right, let's do a case.
Okay. I had, we were in missing people. I do know that. I know we did Jaleesa.
We did Roger Askew. We did Jaleesa. I think Shonda. Did we do Shonda Stansberry? Because it was so long, I think we waited. She's the one, the Waffle House one.
Well, we can talk about it again.
Okay. I don't
Okay.
think we did her.
Okay, this case is from December 9th, 2006. Chandra Renee Stansberry. At approximately 6 a.m., 24-year-old Chandra Renee Stansberry arrived at a Waffle House in Roanoke Rapids near I-95, where her sister worked. Chandra appeared to have been beaten with bruises that covered her face and legs, and there was a swollen knot on her temple. Chandra got a ride with a customer who was well known to her and taken to the West Side Trailer Court in Roanoke Rapids. Chandra was dropped off and was never heard from again. Chandra's mother filed a missing report on December 14th, 2006 at approximately 10:15 a.m. She was concerned because Chandra would contact her on a daily basis and she had not heard from her in several days. The same day her mother took out the missing person report, a woman contacted 911 at around 11:28 p.m. to report that she saw two men chasing a woman who had no clothes on and was screaming for help. The caller believed that it was Chandra. She stated that she was being chased behind a convenience store near the woods off Highway 158. Investigators eventually traced the call and located that witness a couple of days later. The witness advised detectives that she was familiar with Chandra and was certain it was her. Again, she advised that she had no clothes on, had blood dripping from her mouth, that she was screaming, and needed help. The witness was scared to stop, so she waited until she got home to call police. The witness described the two men as black males. The first man was between the ages of 28 and 32 at the time and approximately 5'8" in height. He had a large, muscular arms and a stocky build, and had a dark complexion. He was allegedly wearing denim jeans, a white t-shirt, and a baseball cap. It's likely that he may have been bald. I wonder how she knew that.
How do you know that?
Driving by at 55 miles an hour.
And he had on a baseball cap? How do you know that he's bald? How do you know that he's bald? That we
So
say this
many
every time. We
things
just
about
talked about
this.
this case not long ago. But it's okay, because we want to solve this case really bad. There is no way this girl could describe this.
This is the case that I was saying here a while back. Could you imagine driving by a convenience store,
Yeah.
man or woman, and you see a woman getting chased? She's got a bloodied face. She's being chased by two men screaming for help. And you're going to drive all the way home before you call 911?
Not hardly.
I don't know of anyone that would do that. Now, I get it if you don't have a cell phone, but I would argue that you would stop at the first place you came to.
I would think so. Yes, I would think so. Yes.
But anyway, the other man was described as having a light complexion, stood approximately 5'6" in height, medium build, and dreadlocks. He was said to be wearing Timberland boots, jeans with patches on them, and a brown oversized button-down shirt. I got to give her credit now. She is
Descriptive.
She is very descriptive. Driving by someone being chased.
I tell you.
Investigators questioned the convenience store employees, and they advised they hadn't seen or heard anything. And the reason they probably hadn't seen or heard anything is because this was all fabricated.
Exactly.
They also investigated the area and found no prints, no disturbed brush, or any other evidence that would indicate Chandra had been there.
Yeah, this case is just, it throws you off.
And
All
I
of
think
this
that's what
throws you off.
this lady that reported this, see, what happened is she called and reported some stuff.
Yes,
And she was not counting on them tracking her down.
right.
And when they tracked her down and found her, she didn't know when to shut up.
That's right.
She kept running her mouth, and she was
Yes.
fabricating as she was going.
Yeah, because none of this stuff probably even happened. So this case can be very,
And keep in mind now, she said that she recognized it being her friend Sandra. So now it's not just a random person that's being chased around the store.
Right.
This is your friend. And you're going to wait till you get home to call 911?
exactly.
I'm telling you, this didn't happen. This
No.
didn't happen.
I'm telling you, it did not. Very
It's
good.
sad because she's missing. her family, they want to know where their loved one's at. And it all starts with whoever dropped her off at work.
Yep,
Whoever dropped her off at the Waffle House, it starts with them.
exactly. Okay, well, I think we'll continue we'll do our weather forecast at the very end of the segment, about 5 till, so we'll just keep going, Lee. I'm so intrigued with this case. Linda Williams Lawrence again,
Okay.
that swimming pool.
And that was like right over here, right?
Yes, that drives me crazy. Right off of Gold Rock Road. When you turn off of Tom Betts Highway onto Gold Rock Road, 48, right up here, it's right there on the right, that subdivision. Right there, it has a swimming pool, still does, for the residents.
See, I would have been with Nash County Sheriff's Office at the time, and see, I don't remember this case, but this case is from June 13th, 1996. June 13th, 1996, which this is considered the city of Rocky Mount anyway.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Linda Williams Lawrence. She left a private swimming pool in the High Meadows neighborhood of Rocky Mount at 8:30 p.m. June 13th, 1996, and was never seen or heard from since. She was 45 years old at the time. She had a butterfly tattoo on her left hip. She was wearing a pink bathing suit, black t-shirt, and white sandals. Her black and silver full-size 1984 Ford pickup that she was driving was found later at Meadowbrook Park with the keys and her personal belongings still inside. Police found no sign of foul play in the truck, and Linda was never seen or heard from again.
That is strange that she would leave her keys and her pocketbook in the car.
That lets you know robbery
In the
was
truck.
not a motive.
No. But now, they did say that she had some drug issues. I did hear that
Okay.
from the police department. She had some drug issues, and it makes you wonder if she went there to meet and something about that, and maybe she didn't have the money. She got in their vehicle with them and didn't anticipate them leaving with her in the car. I mean, does that make sense?
Yes,
Pocketbooks
I mean,
because when she
does.
got out, she didn't bring her purse or her keys. So when she got out of that car, she wasn't expecting to leave with somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or she would have got her belongings.
She got out. It sounds like she probably drove over there.
Yeah, she drove her 1984 Ford pickup over there.
Yeah, and she left her purse in there.
Yeah,
She left her belongings in there. She left her keys in there thinking, I'm only going to be here a second.
yeah.
A quick minute.
And she got out, and whatever
Because
happened.
usually when somebody takes your vehicle, they leave it on fire. They burn it up to destroy evidence.
Yeah, and
If
see,
somebody else has possession of your vehicle.
yeah, and the truck was left there.
She left with someone.
Yeah,
I agree.
but she had to have not thought she was going to leave with someone because she left her stuff. So it couldn't have been willing, or she would have said, hold on, let me get my purse and my keys.
But a lot of times people will meet somewhere in public like that and they'll just literally jump out of their car thinking, I'm going to sit with you in your car
Right.
just for a quick minute.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And something happened and happened quick,
Yes,
fast, and in
something
a hurry.
happened, and she didn't get back to her stuff, and they took off with her and put her somewhere or did something, whatever happened. But I'm always, she would be, it says she was 45 years old. She would be almost 75 years old now. She's about 74 years old now, would be. And I remember when Linda was doing this case, he had talked to her mother, and her mother said, my last wish is to know what happened to my daughter. I have lived with this and lived with this. Couldn't get closure, like everything else we talk about on this program. folks, if you know anything about this, you know, the mother has passed away. She did, and she would probably have, because Linda herself would be almost 75. So, but the lady did not get closure. But Linda Williams Lawrence does have family members alive, I'm sure. Children. She probably had children. So please do the right thing. If you know anything that happened at Meadowbrook Park is where she went over to. Meadowbrook Park, yes, in a cul-de-sac.
Now, is Meadowbrook Park, is that over towards like the old Rocky Mountain Fairgrounds?
Yes, it is. Tower Drive-In used to be. That subdivision right back in there behind it.
Okay.
Yep. Johnson Elementary School, I mean, that whole area right there, Fairview Road, you turn left into High Meadows. I mean, not High Meadows, that's Skullrock Road. Meadowbrook Park, Meadowbrook Road, right there by D.S. Johnson School. You can turn left and it goes all back in Meadowbrook. So that's where they were, on one of those streets. So if you know anything, please come forward and help the RMPD solve this case. Now, the numbers are 977-1111 for Crime Stoppers. You can text a tip. Lee, can we put up all of those things? Text a tip. There's Crime Stoppers. So, or you can just call the police department at 972-1411. 972-1411. Any law enforcement agency will get you to the right place, but we need to solve some of these cases, folks. We really do. Now we can do let's do a short one. Let's see if we can do a short one. We're almost finished with our missing person ones. I think we've about finished with those. Next week we'll be going back into some of the regular cases. If we want to flip over to the back side of missing person cases to Jaquator Staten.
What's the date on it?
It is 7/2/21.
Got it.
Let's just do that one because it's a short one.
Okay, Jaquator Staten. This case is from July 2nd, 2021. At around 1 a.m., unknown suspects were in the parking lot of an apartment complex on Sherwood Avenue in Tarboro, North Carolina, when shots were fired. The bullet struck the apartment in which Jaquator was staying. She was asleep in her bed when she was struck by the bullet. She passed away due to the injury. Imagine, just being at home, laying in bed, tending to your own business.
Yes. 1 a.m., y'all. You know what we say. But she wasn't out. Now, we say all the time, they shouldn't have been on the street. They shouldn't have been out. You know what? This girl, like you said, was in her bed. She was not
bothering a soul.
Bothering anybody. So right there in the parking lot of the apartment complex, Sherwood Avenue, I don't know where that is, in Tarboro. If you know anything about Jaquator Staten, 21, it's pretty recent, July of 21, please come forward. We will give you cash money for a tip if there's an arrest. We'll give you up to $15,000 cash money in a couple of days. We get it to you. Team Cold Case. So if you would come forward and help law enforcement with this would be Tarboro Police Department or Edgecombe County Sheriff's Department, whichever one. If you could contact them, that would be great and help us out. I mean, as law enforcement says all the time, you are their greatest resource. They need your help. They need your help because somebody knows something about every case in this book. So somebody knows something about Jaquator Staten and why this happened. Was she targeted for some reason, somebody she knew, or did the bullet just happen to go there? We don't know. So Anyway, that's all for today. JP and myself will be back next week for more of the K-Files. Make it a great day, everybody.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.